I know this might be controversial, but I feel like if you need to sniff a chemical in order to perform better at your sport, something's messed up. Welcome back everybody, I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and my goal in this channel is to help teach you a little bit more about the world of sports medicine. And in this video, we're gonna be talking about smelling salts, something I've never actually covered on this channel. But earlier tonight, ESPN's SportsCenter Twitter account shared this video of Ryan Reaves sitting on the bench for the Wild and sniffing smelling salts. Of course, these videos get a very strong reaction on social media. It's very, shocking content. There's that shock and awe factor here. People think this might be funny or humorous or tough. I don't know. But I feel like it's promoting something that I don't agree with the use of, and I think can be dangerous and honestly has no place in sports. I know I'm gonna probably get some kickback on that, but let's just talk about why. Smelling salts are a chemical. It's literally a chemical that is designed to cause a reaction in your body to theoretically increase your performance and your alertness. The salts are ammonium bicarbonate and ammonium carbonate, and whenever they're cracked or opened or activated, so to speak, they release ammonia gas. Ammonia gas is an irritant, and what it does is it triggers an inhalation reflex within your body because of its effect on the nasal passages in the airways. It irritates the lining called the mucous membranes within your nose and airways and triggers you to suddenly want to inhale a bunch of oxygen. Of course, that's the theoretical benefit in performance when athletes are using smelling salts, that this sudden rush of oxygen into your brain and into your muscles is going to cause an increase in your athletic performance, which really has no strong scientific backing to begin with. This reflex can cause an increase in your blood pressure and heart rate, which is of course going to lead to more blood and oxygen delivery to your muscles. So in theory, it makes sense, but nothing is really played out reliably to, in my opinion, make it worth the potential risk of promoting their use. It's been around for a really long time. Historically, it of course has been known for helping to revive women who fainted by causing this irritating effect that triggers this reflex to get you to breathe in a bunch of oxygen and hopefully help to wake you up. We've seen them in sports movies with Rocky taking smelling salts to help get back into the fight and help make him more alert. And in the defense of people who will criticize this video, in my opinion, saying that they're absolutely safe, in and of itself, just taking a whiff of ammonia briefly from a safe distance is not going to hurt you. But the context in which they can be used, and we see them used in the sports world, is what in my opinion makes them too dangerous. The first concern, of course, is if they're held too close to the nose and for too long of a time period, they can actually cause chemical burns to the passages of the nose and the airways, which of course is never a good thing. Ideally, you're much farther away than this, but of course athletes like to push things to the limit and see how strong of smelling salts they can take. So for one thing, if you have people using smelling salts who might just be fooling around and they're held way too close to the nasal passages, that gas is going to be much stronger and can really cause some damaging effect if used improperly. But even if they're used properly, they can cover up other injuries that might be more serious or potentially make them worse. If you think of somebody who's maybe having symptoms of a concussion, right? A hockey player skates back to the bench and they're a little bit dazed because they got knocked funny, and instead of just appropriately being evaluated for a concussion, they reach for the smelling salts. The smelling salts are going to make it much harder to properly assess for a brain injury, and so then if you go back out there with a brain injury, you're of course at a lot worse of risks. So using smelling salts in the setting of a brain injury is extremely risky, and when they're just on the bench like this, there's no real control over who might have a concussion or concussion symptoms, but is reaching for smelling salts instead. The next concerning part is watch how quickly Reaves pulls his head back. This reflex from the irritation is so fast that you can't control that sudden jerking backwards of your head or your neck. In the same vein of a head injury, if someone's dealing with a potential neck injury and they use smelling salts to again try to help revive themselves, they're not going to be able to control that reflexive jerking back movement and could potentially make an injury in their neck worse because of that sudden jerking motion. I know this makes me sound like the old guy on the porch yelling, and the other side of this is there's not even good data to support it gives you any performance benefit. The only real thing that I've seen teased out in the studies is a perceived improvement in performance, but nothing that actually translates to objective data. So you're just doing something that could mask other issues, potentially harm you, for no real actual benefit other than just the perception of what you're doing within your sport. By no means should the use of smelling salts be promoted to tens of thousands or millions of people like ESPN is doing on their social media. There's no convincing evidence it's going to actually help you with anything, and the only possible effect, in my opinion, is harmful. So that's it for the video, everybody. Please let me know below your opinions on smelling salts. I'm sure a lot of you are going to strongly disagree with me, which is okay. This is just a little bit of the background, my concerns, the science, and you can decide for yourself, but hopefully stay away from it. Let me know as always any questions or comments down below, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.